Who is the greatest in the history of Formula One? Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, Prost, Senna, or Lauda? Go back a little further and you get Fangio. There are good arguments for every one of these names, and making them would probably take us hours. Different cars, different eras, different rules. And I don't think we should crown the best by taking the most dominant drivers of their eras and comparing win statistics or how badly they beat their teammates. Anyway, today's subject is one of the greats. Not one of the greats of his own era. One of the greats of all time. We had been debating where he would go next. He chose to stay at Red Bull. On Thursday morning, Max Verstappen posted a photo of himself standing in front of a poster that read, "For more years of full send." Behind that slogan sits what is probably the biggest driver contract in the history of motorsport. Verstappen has extended his deal with Red Bull until the end of the 2030 season. To be honest, Max Verstappen trusts Red Bull more than any of us do. Let's start with the facts. On August 20th, 2026, Red Bull confirmed that Verstappen has signed a contract extension, keeping him with the team through the end of the 2030 season. The announcement came right before his home race at Zandvoort, and the timing is symbolic. This is the Dutch Grand Prix, Max Verstappen's final home race. His previous contract ran until the end of 2028, but it contained performance-based exit clauses, and those clauses are the reason his name kept showing up in transfer rumors for more than a year. The new agreement adds 2 seasons and, according to the reporting around it, removes that uncertainty. He will be 33 years old when it expires. So the years considered a driver's very best, he will spend at Red Bull, not at Mercedes or McLaren, the teams currently out in front. 11 of this season's 23 races are behind us, and Verstappen sits 6th in the championship. He has not won a race in 2026. He has 4 podiums, and first of them only came in round 5. Red Bull is 4th in the constructor standings, behind Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren. And the championship leader is a Mercedes driver born in 2006, Kimi Antonelli. The new rules reshuffled the entire grid, and Red Bull, building its own engine with Ford for the first time, is still far from the pace it wants. Red Bull has been living in constant turbulence since the middle of 2024. Their legendary designer Adrian Newey left for Aston Martin. Christian Horner, the man who had led the team since its founding, was removed in July 2025 and replaced by Laurent Mekies. All the while, Verstappen's exit clauses hung over everything like a shadow. In 2025, his name was constantly linked with Mercedes. This year, the rumors shifted to McLaren. And through all of it, Verstappen lost nothing of his level. Last season, he closed a 104-point gap, won the season finale, and still lost the championship to Lando Norris by just 2 points. If you ask me, the best driver of last season was Verstappen. Then came 2026 and the new rules. Verstappen keeps repeating how much he hates them. He has compared the new generation of cars to a video game, said the rules condemn drivers to managing battery power instead of pushing flat out, and at one point hinted he might walk away from Formula One entirely. This week, he admitted something remarkable. He was closer to retiring than to joining another team. So the real question was never whether he would leave Red Bull. The real question was whether he would leave the sport. Which means the choice in front of him this summer was never really Red Bull or Mercedes or McLaren. The choice was Red Bull or nothing. And he chose for more years. Formula One has a cost cap. In 2026, it stands at $215 million per team, and it covers car development, aerodynamics, race operations, and most staff salaries. But driver salaries sit completely outside that cap, along with the 3 highest-paid people in each team. So a team can no longer outspend its rivals on the car. Driver pay is the one area of Formula One that has no limit. If the numbers circulating in public are accurate, Verstappen's base salary alone comes to nearly half of what an entire team is allowed to spend on designing, building, and racing its cars for a whole season. Then there is a concept known as denial value. If Verstappen is worth $100 million a year to Red Bull, then keeping him out of a Mercedes or a McLaren is worth almost as much again. Every race he wins for you is a race your rivals do not win. Every sponsor he attracts is a sponsor they do not sign. Looked at that way, keeping Verstappen is cheaper than losing him. Verstappen has been the face of this team, and of the energy drink brand behind it, for a decade. The team itself described this partnership as one of the most successful and defining in the history of the sport. For a brand built entirely on the image of winning, letting its greatest winner walk to a rival was never really an option. For the driver market, the biggest domino just refused to fall. For Mercedes and McLaren, the Verstappen possibility goes back on the shelf for a while. And the two people most relieved about that might be Russell and Piastri. For Formula One itself, the relief is real. The sport's biggest star spent months openly talking about retirement while criticizing the new rules. Forbes went as far as calling this extension the thing that saved Formula One from a major embarrassment. On Verstappen's side, there is a genuinely romantic angle, and he described it himself this week. He joined the Red Bull program as a teenager, and he said it would be a beautiful story to finish his career with a single team. A story? Yes, it is a beautiful story. But there's one more detail. How much should you pay to sign a four-time world champion who is already regarded as one of the best in history? First, I have to say there is no official announcement. The most detailed claim comes from a Formula One business journalist, Mark Lemasher. According to Lemasher, Verstappen will earn a base salary of €92 million a year starting in 2027, and performance bonuses could push that figure up to €115 million a season. Across 4 seasons, that would take the total value of the package to €460 million. For comparison, his previous salary was reported at somewhere between $55 and $75 million a year depending on the source, which already put him at the very top of the grid alongside Lewis Hamilton. So even the most cautious estimates of the new deal would mean a record. And if Limacher's figures are close to reality, Verstappen moves into a different category entirely. €115 million a season is more than the reported club salaries of footballers like Lionel Messi and Karim Benzema. The only contract clearly above his would be Cristiano Ronaldo's deal in Saudi Arabia. The most valuable athlete in motorsport looked at every option in front of him and chose patience over a shortcut. To be honest, if I were him, I would change teams. A Red Bull recovery does not look likely from where we stand today, and there is not a single team on the grid that would refuse to hand a blank check to Max Verstappen, the best driver out there. That is all from me. What do you think? I am not Max Verstappen. I am just a university student who makes a podcast. Subscribing to the channel helps more than you might think at this stage. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.